Most people are about to enter one of the most important phases of their life without even realizing it. Not because something dramatic is about to happen overnight, not because the world is suddenly changing, but because something subtle has already started shifting, and most people are still moving like nothing is different. And that is exactly why this message matters right now. Because the Watchers are returning, not in the way people imagine, not in a physical form, not as something you can see standing in front of you, but as something much more precise, much more silent, and much more personal. They are not watching the world. They are watching people. They are watching patterns. They are watching decisions. They are watching who you become when nobody is guiding you, when nobody is correcting you, and when nobody is rewarding you. And this is where everything begins to change. Because most people believe their life is defined by big moments, big opportunities, big decisions, big failures, big successes. But that's not actually what defines a person. What defines a person is repetition. The small decisions, the quiet habits, the way you react when things don't go your way, the way you treat people when you don't need anything from them, the way you move when nobody is watching. That's what builds a pattern, and patterns never lie. For a long time, people believed that nothing was really noticing these small moments. They believed that only visible success mattered, only results mattered, only recognition mattered, only winning mattered. But that was never true, because the moments that felt invisible were the ones that mattered the most. The times you stayed disciplined when it would have been easier to quit. The times you stayed honest when lying would have made life easier. The times you kept going when nobody encouraged you. The times you worked on yourself without telling anyone. The times you improved quietly. The times you chose patience instead of reaction. The times you chose growth instead of comfort. Those moments were never wasted. They were never ignored. They were never meaningless. They were building something. Something you couldn't see at the time. Something you couldn't measure at the time. Something you couldn't explain at the time. But now those patterns are starting to respond back to you. And that's why life may start feeling different for many people right now. Not necessarily easier, not necessarily harder, just different. You may start noticing that certain things don't affect you the way they used to. Certain situations don't trigger you the way they used to. Certain conversations don't interest you the way they used to. Certain people don't have the same influence on you anymore. And at the same time, new opportunities may start appearing. New ideas may start forming. New people may start entering your life. New paths may start opening without you forcing them. This is not random. This is alignment. Most people think life is random. Most people think luck controls everything. Most people think timing is everything. But timing is not random. Timing is often a response to who you have been when nothing was guaranteed. A response to how you moved when nobody was watching. A response to the standards you kept when nobody was checking. A response to the discipline you built when nobody rewarded you. And this is where the idea of the Watchers becomes important. Because the Watchers are not judging you. They are not punishing you. They are not rewarding you like a teacher rewards a student. They are simply observing patterns. And patterns create outcomes automatically. If your pattern is discipline, your outcome becomes progress. If your pattern is honesty, your outcome becomes trust. If your pattern is patience, your outcome becomes stability. If your pattern is learning, your outcome becomes growth. If your pattern is consistency, your outcome becomes opportunity. Not because someone decided to give it to you, but because patterns always produce results over time. This is why some people suddenly experience life moving forward very quickly after years of nothing happening, and other people feel stuck even though they are always busy, because being busy is not the same as moving correctly. And moving correctly is not about moving fast, it's about moving consciously. And this is the real shift that is happening right now for many people. People are starting to become aware of themselves, not just aware of the world, aware of their own thoughts, aware of their own reactions, aware of their own habits, aware of their own patterns. And once you start seeing your own patterns clearly, your life starts changing automatically, because you stop living on autopilot. Most people live their entire life on autopilot. They react without thinking. They speak without thinking. If you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe for daily cosmic insights, astrology updates, and spiritual guidance, because the universe always has a message for you. They decide without thinking. They repeat habits without thinking. They follow routines without thinking. They follow people without thinking. They follow opinions without thinking. And then they wonder why their life doesn't change. But the moment you start watching yourself, everything changes. The moment you can hear yourself while you are speaking, the moment you can see your reaction while it is happening, the moment you can notice your thoughts while you are thinking, the moment you can pause before responding, the moment you can choose instead of react. That is the moment you stop being controlled by your patterns, and that is the moment you start creating new ones. And this is why this period is so important. Because this is not a time where you need to rush. This is not a time where you need to panic. This is not a time where you need to chase everything. This is a time where you need to pay attention. Pay attention to how you speak. Pay attention to how you react. Pay attention to what you repeat every day. Pay attention to what you tolerate. Pay attention to what you avoid. Pay attention to what you keep delaying. Pay attention to what you know you should be doing, but aren't doing. Because your future is not built from big decisions. It is built from daily patterns. And once those patterns become clear, life becomes clear. Decisions become easier. People become easier to understand. Situations become easier to handle. Stress becomes easier to manage, because you are no longer confused about yourself. Clarity about yourself changes everything. And this is the message most people need to hear right now. You are not behind in life. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not unlucky. You are not forgotten. You are not stuck forever. You are just in the middle of building patterns that will define your next phase of life. Some people are building discipline. Some people are building knowledge. Some people are building patience. Some people are building strength. Some people are building character. Some people are building focus. Some people are building independence. And these things do not show results immediately. They show results suddenly. That's why life can look the same for years and then change in 1 year. Because the change didn't happen in that 1 year. It was built in the years before it. Nothing is wasted. No effort is wasted. No discipline is wasted. No learning is wasted. No improvement is wasted. No patience is wasted. Everything builds something, even when you don't see it immediately. So if life feels slow right now, don't panic. If life feels confusing right now, don't panic. If life feels heavy right now, don't panic. If life feels uncertain right now, don't panic. Slow periods build strong people. Confusing periods build smart people. Heavy periods build resilient people. Uncertain periods build brave people. And strong, smart, resilient, brave people always move forward eventually. So instead of worrying about when your life will change, focus on how you are moving right now. Focus on your habits. Focus on your discipline. Focus on your mindset. Focus on your reactions. Focus on your standards. Focus on your consistency. Because life does not change when you wish for it. Life changes when your patterns change. And if you remember one thing from this entire message, remember this: your life is not decided by what you say. Your life is decided by what you repeat. So repeat discipline, repeat learning, repeat patience, repeat honesty, repeat effort, repeat growth, repeat showing up, repeat trying again, repeat improving, repeat moving forward. And eventually, life has no choice but to respond. So don't be afraid of this new phase. Don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of pressure. Don't be afraid of slow progress. Don't be afraid of starting late. Don't be afraid of doing things differently. Just pay attention to how you move. Because how you move every day is quietly creating your future. And maybe that is what the Watchers really are. Not something outside of you, but the part of you that sees everything you do. The part of you that knows when you are lying to yourself. The part of you that knows when you are improving. The part of you that knows when you are wasting your potential. The part of you that knows who you could become if you stayed consistent. So the real question is not whether the Watchers are returning. The real question is, are you finally watching yourself? And if you are, then your life is already starting to change. And if this message found you at the right time, don't ignore it. Just promise yourself one thing. No matter how slow things feel, no matter how difficult things get, no matter how many times you feel like quitting, you will not stop improving yourself. Because the people who don't stop eventually become the people who don't lose. And if you truly believe that your life is about to change, write in the comments, "I am ready for the next phase of my life." There is something else most people don't realize when their life starts changing. The change does not begin outside. It begins inside, very quietly. So quietly that most people almost miss it. It begins the moment you start noticing yourself, not judging yourself, not criticizing yourself, not trying to become perfect, just noticing. Noticing how you react when someone disagrees with you. Noticing how you speak when you are angry. Noticing how you behave when you are tired. Noticing how you treat people who cannot help you. Noticing how you spend your time when nobody is telling you what to do. Because that is where the real version of you lives. Not in your plans, not in your goals, not in what you say you will do, but in what you actually do every day. Most people think they know themselves, but they only know the version of themselves they imagine. Very few people know the version of themselves they repeat. And the Watchers, or awareness, or life, or whatever you want to call it, does not respond to the person you imagine you are. It responds to the person you repeatedly show. That is why repetition is so powerful. Repetition builds identity. Identity builds decisions. Decisions build direction. Direction builds life. So if someone repeats discipline, they become disciplined. If someone repeats excuses, they become someone who always finds excuses. If someone repeats learning, they become knowledgeable. If someone repeats complaining, they become negative. If someone repeats effort, they become capable. If someone repeats quitting, they become someone who never finishes anything. Life is not complicated. But people make it complicated because they focus on big results instead of small patterns. They want motivation. They want inspiration. They want perfect timing. They want the right opportunity. They want support from everyone. They want confidence before starting. But confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes after repetition. You become confident after you have done something many times. You become disciplined after you choose discipline many times. You become strong after you handle many difficult moments. You become calm after you survive many stressful situations. You become patient after waiting many times. Everything is built through repetition. And this is why this phase of life is so important for many people right now. Because this is the phase where repetition becomes visible. This is the phase where patterns start showing results. This is the phase where people start seeing the direction their habits have been taking them. Some people will start moving forward very quickly, not because they are lucky, but because they have been building the right patterns quietly for years. Some people will feel stuck, not because life is unfair, but because their patterns have not changed. This is why awareness is so powerful, because awareness allows you to change patterns. If you are not aware, you repeat automatically. If you are aware, you can choose differently. And small different choices repeated over time create a completely different life. Most people underestimate how powerful small decisions are. Waking up on time, going for a run when you don't feel like it, learning something new instead of scrolling, saving money instead of spending everything, staying calm instead of reacting, listening instead of interrupting, finishing what you started instead of quitting halfway. These things look small, but repeated over months and years, they completely change a person's life. Success is not one big decision. Failure is not one big mistake. Both are built slowly, quietly, through daily habits. And this is why you should never compare your life with someone else's highlight moments, because you are not seeing their habits. You are only seeing their results. Results are always visible. Habits are always invisible. But habits always create results. So if you want to change your life, don't focus only on goals. Focus on habits. Focus on patterns. Focus on what you repeat every day. Because the future is not created by what you plan once. It is created by what you repeat daily. And there is something else very important that happens when you become more aware of yourself. You become less reactive. You stop reacting to everything people say. You stop reacting to every negative comment. You stop reacting to every small problem. You stop reacting to every opinion. You stop reacting to every inconvenience. You start choosing your reactions, and that changes everything. Because most people's lives are controlled by reactions. Someone says something, then they react. Something goes wrong, then they react. Someone ignores them, then they react. Something takes time, they react. Someone succeeds, they react with jealousy. Someone fails, they react with judgment. Reaction is automatic. Response is conscious. And the moment you stop reacting automatically, you become very powerful. Because now people cannot control your emotions easily. Situations cannot control your mood easily. Problems cannot control your decisions easily. You start moving based on decisions, not emotions. And decisions build life. Emotions change every day. Decisions change your direction. Strong people are not people who never feel emotions. Strong people are people who don't let emotions control their decisions. They still feel angry. They still feel sad. They still feel stressed. They still feel tired. They still feel confused, but they don't let those feelings decide their future. They still show up. They still work. They still learn. They still improve. They still move forward. And that is why they win in the long run. Because life is not a short race. Life is a very long race. And in long races, consistency always beats motivation. Discipline always beats talent. Patience always beats speed. Calm thinking always beats emotional decisions. So, if you feel like your life is moving slowly right now, don't worry too much. Slow progress is still progress. Quiet growth is still growth. Invisible improvement is still improvement. Not everything needs to happen quickly. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet built their life slowly, quietly, and patiently. And one day, everything they built slowly started working all at once. So don't panic if your life doesn't look impressive right now. Don't panic if you are still figuring things out. Don't panic if you are still learning. Don't panic if you are still building discipline. Don't panic if you are still trying to become better. Because the people who keep trying, keep learning, keep improving, and keep moving forward are the people whose life eventually changes the most. So maybe this message is not a warning to be afraid. Maybe this message is a reminder to be aware. Aware of your habits, aware of your patterns, aware of your decisions, aware of your reactions, aware of your direction, aware of your time, aware of your potential. Because once you become aware, you cannot live unconsciously anymore. And once you stop living unconsciously, your life starts changing automatically. So if you are listening to this right now, maybe you are not here by accident. Maybe you are here because you are entering a phase where you need to become more aware of yourself. Not to become perfect, not to become someone else, but to become the best version of yourself slowly, honestly, and consistently. And if you are ready for that phase of your life, write in the comments, "I am becoming more aware every day."